didn't seem to be as much of an effect until the Nordos came out that the farmers were getting taxed more than the rest of the people. There are school districts around that were in.
What other school district?
Albany and stuff. They were-
Albany
took
didn't have
two-
any money on the books for referendum. They also got a $5 million donation from a large business down there,
But
which if you don't have any money on, your taxes aren't gonna be that high. We have some money on the books right now, so adding this referendum was gonna be even more of a tax increase at that time. If we didn't have any money on the books, you wouldn't have seen a very large tax increase at all if this referendum would have passed.
Well, and how many times did Albany have to put it out there too? That wasn't their, it didn't go through their very first time.
Correct.
It took them, was it 2 or 3 times before it actually went through? So, it-
Yep.
it-
And they have proportionally less ag land that we're still operating.
Okay, so that was, I don't know about you, but speaking for myself, that was a very educational question. Thank you. Not to say the other questions weren't good. I think that this is another interesting question about, it might be the same author. Did you write 2 questions? No, okay. All right, never mind. If you could remake the school referendum, what would you include or what would you take out? Ooh, this is an awesome question.
That's a great question, and I've thought about this.
Bear in mind that the other thing they put in parentheses were school or sports, so, okay. So,
I've
go
asked
ahead.
the question a ton, are you going back to referendum? If so, what are you gonna change? What are you gonna take out or whatever? I don't lay awake at night thinking about it, but I think about it a lot. Because I was really for this thing, we put a lot of effort into it. I think it was a good referendum. I think it was expensive, extremely expensive, and I think it came at a bad time and had some stuff in there that people just weren't real thrilled about. So what would I change personally? I can't speak for anybody else. I would make the pool smaller. I would get rid of the additional gyms, question number 2. I would put the gymnastics people back where they are and not make that such a big area. And I would tell you right now, that would get that thing down to about $18 million. With a 40% tax relief for the farming community, down to 18,000 or 18 million, I wish it was 18,000. $18 million, I think it's a very feasible program. I would not touch anything that we talked about on the classrooms, the additions, the upgrades, anything like that. That's me. That's all I would look into it.
Okay. Who would like to be next here to respond to that? Randy, go ahead.
Similar to Pat, classrooms I think were important. That extra gymnasium all the way to the east, the little mini field house or whatever they called it, I think that could have been lopped off. Security entrance I think is very important, and I think that could have probably stayed. And that would have totally redesigned the pickup drop-offs for the kids from a safety aspect, so I think that would have stayed. So really the classrooms, the drop-offs, the security entrance, to me are the 3 biggest things that I still think are very important. And then the basic upkeep, which now this latest bonding's gonna take care of some of that.
Some of that is, more recent bonding expenditures are gonna hopefully address some of the safety concerns. I think at least early on, I probably did stay up at night sometimes trying to figure out a way that we could redo this so that it would work. But smaller pool, and keeping the pre-K, K addition, that classroom area. And then I think also, we did some adjustments to an entrance for the middle school, and you're talking about such big numbers. We could there would be areas to cut down there so that you could get it into that 16 to 18 range. But a lot of what Pat has talked about, smaller pool, and keeping the classrooms about the same.
Okay, thanks.
I guess I agree. I think too, the security, the entrances are a major addition we need. We need additional rooms for the 4-year-olds and kindergarten to be in an area together so they can work together. Classrooms, because we are running out of classrooms. There are more and more interventions using smaller, the little team rooms, so there are less rooms for teachers to use for smaller groups. So most of the academic stuff, the smaller pool is another thing. But yes, it will need to be pared down, and I think part of the issue of it not passing was the 40% cut that the farmers could have got, but it's hanging out there. Do you ever count on the legislature for sure? Never. So you aren't gonna, bet on them passing it. You're gonna wait and see, so I don't think that helped at all.
Thank you. Chris?
I guess unlike them, I probably slept better after it didn't pass because I didn't know how I'd live with my husband if it did, being we're on a farm. But, going back to what I saw as a challenge for our district is the 4-year-olds, are we gonna have room for them? So definitely, I think we would need to continue, keep that, addition on, along with, upkeep the other classrooms and, I think baby steps maybe. And, scale it down so that it can be affordable, just not knowing, what the governor's gonna do with that 40%.
Okay, thank you. And this is the last written question, and it is the school board question. Certain licensures within small districts can be difficult to fill with certified candidates. For example, EBD, ECSE, some science, etc. How can District 740 promote itself so that teachers with those licensures want to come to Melrose to work?
I think that, to me, that goes to, making it an appealing place to work, a good staff morale. It is a good, that is a challenge, and in the past, we've had to, at times, ask for variances from the state, and then those folks have, those people that have been hired into those positions have agreed to get the extra training so that they are licensed, and that may not be ideal, but if you have a good person and you find it and they're really motivated to go get that extra training, that's also can be used. But making it an appealing place to come is probably the biggest key, and that's not just for these people that are in a special need, but for any teachers or parents for that matter.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments from any other board member?
When you were asking those running for the city council, what they think, making the town an appealing area so that they can see that they can bring their families here, they can grow, and it's a good place to live. I think that helps too, and I think the areas where we are short of teachers, those are tough areas no matter where you live. So you have to pull it all together. It's gotta be the area, the town area, the school, and all those things, so.
Okay, thank you. Chris, you want to say something?
Not really.
That's okay. Okay. Randy?
Well, to kind of follow up the lead here, I think Melrose is a very important place. Once we get the church issue taken care of, the 400 block taken care of, it's a small community, but yet you're close enough to St. Cloud, Alec, Wilmer. You're kind of in a center pocket. You're right off the interstate. And I know we do some partnering with student interns, teaching interns, for coming in and doing student teaching. I guess I've never heard where it was more of a difficulty, but then again, I work in some remote areas where it truly is a difficulty because it's the next closest town is 50, 60 miles away, and there's no major intersection, major highway to get to it. So overall, I didn't think it was near the problem that I've heard other places are.
Thank you. Pat?
I think as a board member, it's our job to promote our school as much as we can, anytime we can. I think we all talk to a lot of people during the day, go to different events and stuff, and topics come up about school board and issues and things like that. And I always tell people what a great school we have, what a great staff, great co-curriculars we have, and I love Melrose. I was born and raised here. I moved back here with my wife to raise our family here in a small town. We are right in between St. Cloud and Alec. I said this numerous times when we were going through the referendum process. that, you know, we can put a school together and make it as good a school as it can be, and what's it, the ancillary effect is gonna be, people wanna come to Melrose. They're gonna wanna come here, they're gonna live in our town, live in the surrounding towns, because they have easy access. If they don't work in the school, they can go work in St. Cloud, work in Alec, it's a half hour each way. I did it for 15 years, it's not a big deal. Getting teaching staff to come here, I think that's a challenge, like Pat said. I think we've done things in the past with the variances to fill these positions. But I think it's not just the school board's job, it's the staff, the administration, and everyone in the community to talk about what a wonderful school we have here and to draw people in. It's something that's all of our responsibility to do that.
Okay, thank you. So, out there in the crowd, is there anyone that wants to ask a question at the podium? It's okay. You don't, it's okay. It's not too scary up here. It might not be. Okay, a couple of things then. First of all, we were really glad to have you. Second of all, we as an organization feel very strongly at the Melrose Area Women today about you all going to vote. So, don't forget to vote on November 8th. I did my little homework today with the city of Melrose, and if you say to yourself, oh, I can't make it in to vote on November 8th, you can come during the week and vote. 8 to 4:30, and even on, believe it or not, Saturday, from Saturday, she didn't write the date. Oh, from 10 to 3. So when you came in, you may have noticed that there's little polling places there, okay? You don't have to have a reason to come in and vote early. You can just say, I'm here to vote. And if you're registered, great. If you are not, they can register you here to vote, all right? Before the election, should you choose to do that. So you don't have to have an excuse, no reason, nothing special. The other thing is, believe it or not, it's not just Melrose voting. They have ballots for the entire Stearns County. So bear that in mind. So based on all of that, we're really glad that you're here and that you came. We hope that your information you gained will help you in deciding whom to vote for in the general election on November 8th. You are now invited to have coffee, cookies, and visit with the candidates. Good evening.